And we're good.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Casual Convo Friday. My name is Tisha. We've got Nate in Georgia joining us, and our hot seat guest today is Lisa Nichols. She is an executive and career coach with Love Your Niche. Oh, Lisa, it's so good to have you. Today, we are talking all about career transition and why now is a good time as any to make that jump into a new career. So if you've joined us in the past, you kind of know the drill. I will be handling comments while Nate handles our interview portion with Lisa, but feel free to chat with us throughout this whole broadcast, ask us questions, ask Lisa questions, and we'll obviously send some information as to how to reach her. And thank you, Ellie, for being on. Ellie, my daughter, always a proud supporter. And Nate, I'm going to let you take the floor.
All right. Well, Lisa, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great. So obviously, we're going to get into kind of what you do and everything, but we're talking about, is this a good time to transition day? That's the kind of our topic. Shouldn't people just kind of be, on some level, just happy the fact they have a job right now, not necessarily looking for a different job? Or do you feel differently? I know I feel differently about that, but there's a lot of people just like, hey, you should just be happy where you are for right now and worry about it later. So what's your thoughts on that whole deal?
Right. What I've found is that a lot of people are thinking that they come to me and say, I'm just glad I've got a job. Maybe I should not think about, I was thinking about making a transition, or I really wanted to reach the next level. But now the way things are in the economy, I just don't think I should do anything. I'll just stay where I'm at. And I really think that that's the wrong approach. It's a great time to look at making a transition. And it seems like it might not be, but what I found is that the past few months have really caused a lot of people to reassess where they're at, what they really want in life, in their career. And it's a great time to be evaluating that and to be positioning yourself for what you want at the next level. Because, there will always be something holding you back, whether it's personal life circumstances, whether it's insecurity or uncertainty about whether or not you're ready for the next level, or whether it's an economic situation around us. All of those things can just stop you from achieving what you really want to achieve.
I can agree with that. I think a lot of people they kind of what you said, they put blinders on to opportunities. I know I brought it up with Tisha before. I've had tons of career paths I've started, but then opportunities arise, and I'm like, well, it's time for me to make a change. But I think a lot of people, they feel like they're wrong if they take advantage of opportunities, and I feel like that's where a lot of people just kind of miss out. And so it's good to hear that you kind of along the same lines, not just because we agree, but like I feel like that's just a way that people need to transition to. I know a lot of the generation that come before us and stuff, it was all about you find a job, you work there, you stay there 30 years.
Right.
But, we've also seen how bad that can be for people when it comes up to, it's close for time for them to retire and they get, axed before their pension kicks in or, the retirement benefits or whatever, and things like that. So and also like how many people limited their, happiness, their earning potential, whatever the case may be, because it's like, well, I've got my job, I'm staying here. I mean, if they're happy with it, that's fine. But, there's a lot of people that didn't do it. They just did that. So it's good to hear that from you. And to build off of that, when people are looking at taking advantage of those opportunities and stuff, like how do they prep themselves? How do they help find the type of job they want at that next level? Because, a lot of times people feel like they're maybe not ready to make that next leap, but they definitely have the skills to do so. It's just they need that little like push. So how do you coach people through that process?
Well, that is something that I'm particularly passionate about. And where I start with all my clients is to help them discover and uncover what they really have to offer, what their value is. It's amazing how much our mindset and our understanding of what we have to offer really impacts our career journey in general. And so that's the foundation, right? Just having that mindset, having that understanding of what you bring to the table. And then from there, we can connect that with opportunities. So once you understand your value, then you're able to connect your value with the needs of the companies or the people that you're speaking with.
I can agree with that, and I think Tisha can weigh in on this matter a little bit as well. I know you talk to a lot of people on a daily basis. Let's hear your thoughts.
No, I agree. I agree with it too. I think that trying to find the companies that align with your values and your mission, and that's so key. I mean, I think we've all worked in places. I've been asked a lot, like, why I decided to just go the entrepreneurial route, and I'm like, horrible bosses. Like, that really is the answer. So, there was a really great post today from my friend Melanie, who was saying that the amount of money, does it really matter if you're miserable? And so we've gotten into this, like, do you stay at a place just because the money is good? And I know Karen is watching right now, and we were just having a conversation about this because she shared her son is having this issue right now. He is a rock star at what he does, but he's just starting to feel like underappreciated, like he doesn't have the drive. He's still really good at what he does. And I think that's when you're like, okay, maybe it's time for that career transition. Why am I staying here? Why am I wasting my time doing something where I could be, better utilizing my skills and my talents and being around people that really, love what I do? So I agree. This is why you love your niche. Like, this is why this is your company, Lisa, of helping people get out of the rut of staying in a place just because that's what they think they're supposed to do.
Right.
And move into a position that, that really gives back to them too, just gives back joy to their life.
Exactly. And Tisha, you brought up some great points about, I think that more than ever, we're considering the overall impact of our career choices, of our business that we're at, on our whole life, because it doesn't just impact how much money you're making. It doesn't just impact, how many vacation days you get, right? It impacts everything, because your stress level, your feeling of accomplishment, all of those things really impact your health, your wellness, your ability to take time off with your family. Because, if your stress level is really high, then even when you are off, you're not able to be refreshed in the way that you need to be a lot of times, because you're still unpacking and processing through all the negativity, all the toxic situations you've been involved in at work. And so it takes a toll on you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that we've heard this before, that there's always going to be some level of stress. So you're going to, it's like you're replacing one stress for another stress, right? So I know that. I'm like, yes, okay, this is the perfect job, but what am I sacrificing for this position? So even today, like on Melanie's post, she was talking about horrible clients. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, but I think every single one of us have had, as business owners, we've had our share of horrible clients, not just horrible bosses, but horrible clients. And same kind of thing. Like, I think that we have it in our power to say, you know what? I'm done. We're done. I'm collecting my check and we're through. Like, I don't need this abuse. I don't need you to, like, I had a client that I viewed me as like beck and call girl. Kind of just like, I call you, you come. No. I don't care. Like, I don't care how much money you're paying me to be, to help you with your business. But that's not me. Mm-hmm. That's not me. And we immediately cut ties, because I'm like, that's not a good working relationship. And like, you've used the word toxic. Mm-hmm. It's toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I've fired my fair share of clients. Don't get me wrong. I've sent those emails like, "Hey, you got 30 more days, and I'm cutting ties. It's time to go." It's never a good situation. I mean, it's not like I enjoyed or anything, but like, you have to, bosses and the companies you work for, or clients who are essentially your bosses, it's all the same situation, right? Everybody's got a boss to answer to. Even Bill Gates has people he has to answer to. I know he's not as involved with everything as he used to be, but you get my point. The reality of it is like, that type of stuff can wear on you, just because it's creating stress just for the sake of stress. Like, nobody's meaning to do it, but like, they think, well, you're my employee, or you're this person that's supposed to take care of all this stuff. And like, if it fits what the job description was or the contract agreement or whatever, then that's fine. If they're paying you to do certain task or whatever, then that is your job. That's what you need to do, and you need to do it. But there's always that gray area that everybody gets into, especially working with small businesses. I mean, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of times where I look at business opportunities and I say, I don't think you're going to be the right fit, because they need a lot of glue to hold their many pieces together. And we're not in a position to be that glue for the entire company, and that's what a lot of people are looking for, because they don't have enough people to do everything. But I think those are the situations that Lisa can definitely elaborate on getting out of and how to get out of it. Because it's a matter of realizing, like, I'm stressed out just because somebody else is creating stress for me. And it's not because I'm creating stress because, hey, I'm over here and I'm trying to get extra certifications to get a bump in pay, or I'm trying to bring on extra business and expand, or whatever the case may be. It's just more of somebody else's problems are becoming my problem. And now I'm about done with it, kind of thing.
Right. And like you said, there's always going to be stress. There's always a level of stress, of course. But whether or not it's productive stress, I think that's what you're bringing up, Nate. And that's so true. There's stress that gets you somewhere because you're able to work through the problems and the issues. And then there's the toxic kind that just is devastating, really. And if you deal with that every day, that really weighs on you. And what I find too is that affects your confidence and your ability to believe in what you have to offer, because you have really bad bosses, or, if leadership is not supporting you, or if they don't value you, then you start to wonder if it's something about you. Maybe I don't have that value. Maybe no one's going to hire me. This is all that I can get, and that's a really bad place to be. That's why I really love to help people in that place, to see what the possibilities are and to see what they have to offer, so that they don't have to stay stuck there. Because I think a lot of people just feel like they don't have any option, or they're just stuck where they're at.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's tons of people I've worked with where, we start working with, there's always that one person that everybody kind of goes to when you start working for a company, right? And so you learn that's the person you kind of latch on to when you're providing outside service. And or if you're new to the company, you've learned, like, okay, I'm going to work with this person, we'll knock stuff out, kind of thing, right? And so, like, when you start hearing about everything that's weighing on them and how they're just getting compounded on daily, you start to realize, like, a lot of this stuff can be taken care of if you can just take a breath and let's take care of stuff one at a time. And that's touch base on you with talking about leadership supporting you, coworkers supporting you, and vice versa, obviously. But when you're not in those environments and it's just crushing, that's just, it's demoralizing. I mean, it's what it boils down to be, and you end up just thinking, like, I suck at my job because I cannot take care of this stuff. And other people are out here taking care of it, but I'm not. And what you don't realize is they actually have that support. They have systems and protocols in place. They have good bosses. They have good coworkers. They've got family supporting them and stuff. And so there can be two people with identical problems, but one's a lot happier than the other simply because of that surrounding. So I completely agree with your point with that. Next question here, unless you got something else to add. Did I cut you off?
No, go ahead.
Okay. What is the foundation of a successful career? Like, we're talking about how people get pushed down, but, like, how can they start to build themselves out? Because obviously, for you to take those opportunities, for you to get them and make those transitions, you at least have to have some type of a foundation that shows people, hey, I'm the kind of person you want to switch gears and move to. So talk to us about building that foundation out.
Absolutely. The foundation starts, like I mentioned earlier, it really starts with understanding what value you bring, what you have to offer. And I talk about that a lot because that's something that I find that so many of us don't take the time to recognize or don't fully understand. And so it's important to really build that foundation of believing what I can do for the organization. And then, from there, just connecting your skills, your experience with the position you want. And it doesn't have to be in the same industry. It doesn't have to be the same type of role, which a lot of times we think in those terms, like, well, this is all I've ever done. Can I really transition? But if you can communicate that you have the skills and the abilities to do what this organization needs, then there are definitely opportunities for you to transition into new industries, into new roles, and of course, at the next level. Just because you haven't been at that level yet, you haven't been a VP yet, if you know that you have what it takes, then it's a matter of you just communicating that to your potential employer.
Yes. Okay. So we have a couple of comments that I want to bring up, Lisa. So Esther, we were talking about people's stress spirits. So I know you're putting up Gary's, but I know Esther put up people's stress spirits can definitely be passed on. Yes, Esther, absolutely. Stress leads to more stress, and it's contagious. Yeah. I'll just use that word. And then Gary, thoughts on leaving a toxic workplace to discover the grass isn't greener and the new job may not be the best choice. So let's talk about this for a second. Let's say you're like, see ya, people, I'm out. I have something better. It's lined up. I'm leaving. You get there and you're like, oh no, what did I get myself into? I thought this was going to be better. There's more pay, but now I'm realizing maybe I made a mistake. Like, have you ever had some of your clients come to you with that of they feel that maybe that regret of I made the transition, but it's not really the right fit for me?
Yes, I think that is something that can be common, especially if you're in a very toxic environment. You can think anything is better than this, which may or may not be true. So when I'm working with clients, that's why we talk a lot about what are your priorities and your goals, because your next role needs to align with those. So at any point in our career, the priority may be making more money, but it might not be. That might not be your number one goal. Of course, we would all love to make more money, but sometimes there are things that are more important to you, like the cultural fit of the organization, right?
Right.
And so it's really important to look at the whole picture and what do you really want? What does a successful transition look like to you? And then to put time into that rather than just, I need anything other than this job. I'm just going to find what I can get. So doing some of that work will help. Of course, there are no guarantees. So there's always a possibility when you take a new job that it might not be the best fit for you. But I think that, again, when you're in that situation, it's just knowing you're not stuck there. You don't have to stay there permanently. You can continue your momentum of looking for the right fit. And you have to keep your focus even when you're in that difficult position.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. Good point. Thank you.
I've seen it happen before. You kind of lag behind there, Tisha. You good?
No. Keep it going. Keep it going.
All right. Oh yeah. So I mean, to touch base on what you both have said there, I've definitely done that. I've made choices and thought I was going to a better opportunity, found out I wasn't, and what I ended up having to do was just kind of work on creating that environment into what I wanted it to be. I just started making moves and working with people like, hey, let's fix this problem, and I just started identifying problems. So that's one way you can deal with that situation. And another thing too is like sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and work through it until you can get to the next opportunity. I mean, there's a couple different things. You just have to weigh what it is. And also I've seen people just turn around and go right back to where they were, at least for the moment. I mean, because that's got to happen. But and even to bring up another point for you, another question. Talk to us about when you do go into new opportunities. How do you coach? Do you continue to coach people once they take those new opportunities? Do you help them out in because it's Tisha was sharing with us, in the pre-broadcast room about how, her kid was starting a new day of school.
Right.
So, she obviously has to talk to him about that. How do you talk to your clients and such when they're taking on these new opportunities so they can have the best impact possible?
Right. Well, I think that coaching throughout, even after the transition, can be very helpful for people, because really all it is that I'm able to ask questions that help my clients think through, what they're experiencing, what they're going through, and how they can manage those situations. So it can be very helpful as you're in a new environment and you're kind of trying to find your rhythm and where do you fit in the organization. It can be very helpful to have those conversations and work on how are you communicating in your new environment. What do you need to compensate for? Because obviously there are always going to be challenges, different challenges than you had before. Okay, how can you manage those and handle those situations? So that's kind of the approach when people have made a transition, and then we continue those conversations.
I like that a lot because the thing I've run into a lot of times when people are dealing with consultants or contractors or they're paying for somebody to provide some type of service. A lot of times there's the project, and the project gets done, and then everybody's ready to move on to the next thing, which is okay. But like there's no follow through with it, right? Like everybody's just like, yeah, we did this thing, and now we're just and I feel like that almost takes away from the investment, whether it was, time, monetary, or both, or whatever the case may be. So do you have like a process in terms of what people can do to keep building upon that? I know you touched base on a little bit with this previous question, but can you lay out that process so people can understand how you actually work through that follow-on work with them?
Mm-hmm. So what I like to do with clients is I always like to start with a conversation where we kind of talk through some of their goals for the whole process, their goals for their transition, where they want to be in the future in their career. And so the more that I understand what their goals are, then I work with them and we develop a custom package for us to work together so that they understand, okay, these are the things that I can provide at each step of the way. And then we go through my process of the steps that we take, the things that we cover together, and then how I can walk them through whatever aspect of the transition. So it's up to the client at that point, like how much support they want. And but a lot of times what I find is that once we go through the first couple of sessions and we start working through things, a lot of times people will want to add on more because they say, oh, this is really helpful. Like I'm thinking through things that I wouldn't have considered. You're helping me see more what I'm capable of. And so I want to continue this relationship and this support throughout, even after I make a move.
Gotcha. Now, what about you, Tisha? You work with people in, for different things, but in a similar capacity. How do you? What's your process for that ongoing support for people?
Well, I'm going to hope my internet doesn't crash. So I'm hoping everybody can hear me still because there has been some lags going on. But just like Lisa, I think you developed such a good rapport and relationship. And Nate, your company, the same thing. When people see you working with them, they develop a really strong connection and relationship with you. And I'm all about that. I'm all about the relationships. And I think that as you start helping the clients, like I do a lot with personal branding. So very much like Lisa, I'm taking them through an entire process, asking them some hard questions and turning the mirror back on them that as we keep going, they're like, oh my gosh, like what else can we do? Like, how else do you build my confidence? And I'm like, client for life right there. So it's just like Lisa. I mean, Lisa, you might have clients that they know what they want right now, but we're in such a state of pivot that you don't know in 2 years, you might be like, I'm done with that. I'm moving on. Like I've already done this and now I want to try my hand at this. Or as you shared, I've been at this level and now I'm ready to take it up a notch and become a VP or a director or maybe the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very much like you're helping them evolve through the seasons. And that's why they stay with you. It's why they continue working with you, because you've been such a big part of their journey at this point. It's why people have coaches, which is what
Right.
Lisa is. She's a career coach. It's why Nate, they have operations people, because you help them.
Yeah.
You help them get through those times so they can keep being more efficient and keep going with it. So same thing. I mean, it's we've talked about this so much before. It's about processes and systems and the right people in the mix. And those are the people that help you go.
Yeah.
So David said, Tisha's great. Thank you, David. That's so sweet. Nate, not sure.
I mean, I'm a man of mystery.
Man of mystery.
Yeah.
But thanks,
Powers
David.
over here.
Yeah, David and Lisa, if you two haven't connected, David is with Results Staffing. So that might be a great connection between you two. I was on his live stream not too long ago. But yeah, this is a good topic. I like this. And I agree that you might start somewhere like you guys know my story. I've shared my story a lot, how I wanted to be like a broadcast journalist. I've shared it a lot. And I even said today, like, I'm like, Connie Chung would be so proud of me, like where I'm at. But I'm not Connie Chung. I didn't go down the broadcast journalism route. We're allowed to change our minds about our career. Absolutely. I had an event management company and I swore that was what I wanted to do forever. And after 6 years, I was like, no way, I don't want to anymore.
Not if you're doing weddings.
No, I was not. I was doing corporate and nonprofit events, and that was enough. It was enough, and I would go to Lisa. I would go to someone like Lisa and say, I know what I want, but I think I've lost my purpose and I don't know where I'm supposed to be. Where do I go? Here's my skills. Here's my achievements. This is what I've done. Now help me find the right position for me that utilizes and taps into my talent. That's why there's Lisa.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I set that up for you, Lisa. Now you can start with your plug.
Absolutely. Yes. So I love helping people, like I said, and empowering people to transition, to see what they're really capable of. And so if you are wondering if it's a good time for you to make a transition, if you have questions about it, you just want to discuss what your goals are, some of the things that you hope to accomplish at the next level in your career, I would love to offer you a complimentary strategy session where we can talk through some of those things and work through what your next steps might look like. And as well, if you have your own business and you're looking at how do I support my employees in doing this, that's another aspect of what I do, which is very important right now because companies are looking for ways to really support their employees and show them that they have a great culture to work in. And so I can work within those situations as well. And I offer workshops and everything to help employees figure out the best career path within your organization. So.
Nice. Okay. So we will include that. There's a question that just came up. Nate, if you want to put that up. Gary asked, Lisa, what made you want to get into coaching? If you answered already, sorry, but I would love to hear that too. I love asking that question when people say, what do I do? Or what do you do? Asking them, well, what made you get into that? It's always a journey.
That is a great question. And it was something that I feel like coaching found me because I was not looking to do it. But I was given an opportunity with an organization and I started working in career coaching, and I found that I tried to leave it a couple of times and I couldn't because I loved being able to help people in this way. And I saw like the difference that it makes in people's lives, which is what I'm really passionate about. I like seeing people, when people reach out to me and say, I advocated for myself and I got a raise because you helped me to see what my value was. That's amazing. When they say, like, I've been able to transition into this new position, that's amazing. So that's what led me into coaching.
Awesome.
I like
Thanks for answering that. I like it too. I like it. Nate, anything else?
Yeah, I want to bring up something. See, our super fan Gary here thinks I asked good questions. So, David Wilson, haha.
David Wilson.
Yeah, yeah. I got somebody in my corner.
Hey, I said, yes, he's good. I replied. I said, yes, he's good. Yes. Oh, well, good. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for being on with us. You can find Lisa on LinkedIn at Lisa Nichols. And of course, you can schedule a session with her. And I highly recommend you do that. She's a complimentary consultation on Calendly, and we'll put the link as well. Actually, David has one more question, if you don't mind answering this really quickly. Sure. What makes you different to clients? What makes you different?
I think that one of the things that makes me stand out is the way that I listen to what my clients need and really work with them to develop a strategy that fits them specifically. So I think that the customized approach that I take, and just my compassion, my desire to see my clients succeed, that's really what it's about for me. And so I think that that's what people appreciate about working with me and enjoy the process, because we're able to build that relationship and work through that together.
Very good. All right. Well, I know we're cutting into time right now, but thank you so much, Lisa, for being with us today on Casual Convo Friday. We'll be back at it next Friday. Yeah, thank you. And Nate, always a pleasure. Thanks for leading the show through my technical challenges. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in live or watching the replay.
Y'all have a good weekend.
Bye.